Good afternoon. This is Janie McCormick here with Breaking My Silence, and I have a lady here today that's going to blow you away. I'm telling you, she's right on the plane with me. You know, my mission to have these shows is about helping other people not make the mistakes that I did, and to make my life in my mission in life actually is to shatter the silence and stop the violence. Do you like my new deal? Shatter the silence and stop the violence?
I do. That's great.
It. Isn't that great?
That is.
Shatter the silence and stop the violence. Ta-da! So come and speak out on my show anytime. Anyway, I want to introduce you to Marie Kinner, and she is the president of Destination Freedom Mission. She's on her mission also.
I am.
Hi.
Hi.
This is your
this is my camera. All right, well, hi. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you could come today. This is nice,
what a pleasure. What a great cause.
Yeah, so do you. You've got a great cause.
Thank you.
I mean, your mission is to raise awareness and educate and rescue women trafficking clients or trafficking clients locally and nationally.
That's
working
right.
together to make a difference.
That's right.
Tell me this: how did you get informed about human trafficking?
Well, you know, I was watching television and I saw this international issue of human trafficking. Actually, it was the front of a brothel with children actually in cages. It broke my heart.
Oh my God.
And they were just isolated, scammering through these buildings. And I thought, oh, what can I do? Well, then, after doing research, I thought it cannot be happening here in America. I mean...
That's what we all thought.
Yeah, this was 5 years ago. And after doing research and learning that it's the second largest crime here in America,
Amen.
Second only to drugs, I was taken back. I thought, what can I do about this? And, you know, I was raised with a really great home. We always reached out to other people, kind of in the hippie zone where, you know, pimps had the big hat and the feather and the big coat.
Big
and
gold star.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, well, what does it look like today? And I was shocked with the way that media has changed, with the internet, with Facebook, social ways of getting a hold of people. I was shocked to see the different faces of human trafficking.
It's so different now, isn't it?
It is.
Before you could spot it a mile away.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Yeah, it's sneaky and it's behind closed doors.
Yep.
And so that's really what started the whole, what can I do about it?
Well, that's wonderful that you, and you found your voice and you speak out about it now. All over.
All over.
Yeah. And that's what's so important.
Yes.
And then what took place in your life that made you want to act on behalf of trafficked women, victims?
You know, as I was looking at not just the torture, the coercion, the force that women and children go through in trafficking, as I looked at that, I saw the elements. For instance, the age group, the targeted age group of 12, 10 years old starting in.
Stomach.
Yeah. And also the abuse and the underlining maybe self-esteem issues that children have that make them more of a prey, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So I was looking at that, and I've had a life of a great parents, great upbringing, but fell into traps in my own young adult life of abuse and sexual abuse and violence. So it kind of gave me empowerment to think I can change something.
You better believe it.
And what happened, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor.
Yes.
So let's move forward and change this once and for all.
Yes, amen. That's what I say. God, that's for sure.
Yeah,
let's change it.
Yeah, just got a bunch of women together. Now we have quite an organization, but back then it was only 3 of us.
Oh my gosh, how neat. Really?
Yeah.
That is great.
I know. So we're excited.
That's neat.
We're excited. We actually have departments now.
Do you actually have departments?
It's been a long journey, but a great one. We speak all over to raise awareness.
Yes.
We speak at high schools. I spoke to over 600 students one time in that age bracket. Oh, I know.
I want to talk to them babies.
I know, exactly.
Get the messages to them.
Yeah.
From great grandma.
I know. I know.
I mean, you know what's so a shame, seriously, is that 1960, this was going on also.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was a victim of all that. So here it is, 2013.
Yeah.
And our government in America is still letting this go on.
Absolutely. I know.
And they are letting it go on.
I know.
They are not stopping it.
Well, when I think about when it was actually legal for a husband to prostitute his wife and children up until right at the 1900s, that was still legal. And so families or women and children were still property. And I think, our biggest obstacles is tearing down those biases because they're still ingrained in people that people are property. If there's an exchange of money, therefore they have the right to do whatever they want to do. And we continually tear down these biases and these myths because that way people have to look at it the way that they should look at it, as a crime.
Right. It is. It's a horrible crime.
It is a horrible crime.
It's the worst crime. And now and I believe that, I don't know if you believe this, you guys have researched maybe more, but I was wondering if you, if in fact a child, let's say of 13, is taken from some mall somewhere with some wise talking guys or whatever.
Sure.
And that's happening, I know a lot.
Absolutely.
And then let me ask you this. Now, do you think that child is also being put on drugs to also get them to be able to go into the bed with the guys? Or do you think also it's a big thing about prophylactics? They don't want to wear rubbers, these tricks, these rich men that are turning tricks with these kids, and they don't want to wear rubbers, so they figure that there's no AIDS to be got out of that child?
Right.
I'm just asking.
Right. Well, and it's not as common. I know.
It just bugs me. I just wonder.
Right. And it does lead to drugs.
God, yeah.
The initial abuse, the initial torture, the traffickers, or they actually have different degrees because it's an organized crime. The recruiters are trained to isolate and torture for about 10 days until they get that total submission.
Right.
And in order for a person to continue to have power over a child,
drugs takes over.
they have to take and drug them.
You can't go to bed with 10 men a day without being on drugs.
No.
I'm just saying.
No. And who would want to?
And who in God's name would want to?
Right, right. So yeah, there is a lot of drug abuse around it.
Well, that's what they use. Because I was put on drugs. I was on drugs.
Absolutely.
You got to be on drugs. You can't do that.
Right. Well, and it's easy. It's the same organized crime, so it's easier to transport people through the airport than it is cocaine or heroin.
Goes for sure.
It's easier to take people across Minnesota than it is.
Like taking my kid vacationing. Here she is, 12. Yeah.
Right.
And then there's the woman. It's like a mother, and that's what they're doing. They're moving them through with other older women too.
Absolutely, and they really keep their.
Pitiful.
It is, and they really keep their eye out for homeless youth because nobody's looking for them anyway.
No.
And so they have a better chance of moving them.
Grab.
Yeah.
Don't they? They grab those ones.
And I used to walking through stores and seeing the posters. I thought, where can all these people be? These young people, where can they be?
Where'd they go?
And does anybody even look at the posters?
No. I do.
I do too.
I do too.
I do too. I do too.
Every time I go through Walmart and stuff, I go over and look at the poster on the wall. Make sure you check out the posters.
Right.
I'm serious. Check out the posters on the wall.
And that myth that teenagers are throwaways, that they're rebellious, that I
hate mom.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of growing up.
We all do that. Yeah, we all do that.
I remember the silent treatment.
Me too.
But what happens to them? There was a speaker that I listened to that said it used to take 4 hours before a trafficker would approach a homeless youth and try and recruit them here in Minneapolis, the Mall of America, and those areas. Now it takes 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
So they have a window of 45 minutes before they're already being pulled into trafficking. And
Oh,
so,
no way.
yeah. So even, say for
Wow.
instance, they're rebellious. Their parents
Oh,
are
yeah.
beautiful and loving and,
Oh, yeah.
and they're rebellious. It still does not entitle them to be tortured and
No.
lost, beaten, sexually molested,
No.
and drugged. That's not
none
a
of it.
punishment for being a teenager. And
No.
those are some of the things that we address in the school system, especially because, you know, even the youth in schools think, "Oh, nobody really cares."
Nobody cares.
You
And I don't know
know?
why kids think that way.
Yeah.
But they'll go through a stage. I don't know. I think it's maybe a stage.
It is.
In
It
certain
is.
years that they'll go through. Oh, my mom don't care about me. My dad don't. I remember it myself. I remember all kids go through that. Not realizing that they are, you know, maybe they're going to take another road over here and find
Right.
themselves in a real mess,
Right.
into a whole another world.
And it's so sad.
Oh, it's
because
so
they're
breaks your-
lost.
makes-
They're
breaks your-
gone.
Oh yeah, they're gone.
You know, I'm a
Yeah.
mother of 7, and I think and some of my children have, you know, they've broke away. Maybe
Yeah.
not as pretty as I would have liked.
Right, exactly.
But I was young once too.
Sure, exactly.
And you know, I that's part of the motivation also is even
Yeah.
though they're growing and they're moving out and they're beautiful young people now and
Yeah.
and they have passion to serve others,
Right.
they would not have deserved any of that.
No.
And they,
no.
you know,
Oh,
this
no.
generation of youth are so valuable, so strong, so passionate, so
wonderful.
stubborn.
And
They
stubborn.
are leaders,
Yeah, they
and we
are.
need them to lead this generation.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So-
And we need them to lead in this effort.
Absolutely.
This movement that we're creating now.
Absolutely.
We need them to come forth and start speaking and start changing the way they believe.
Yeah.
I feel in my heart that if we had more men, more young boys, stand up and learn about all this, come in and talk to Janie, and talk to us women that
Right.
have been in this life and have went through all that as kids. And because I was a teenager, I was 17 when I was put in prostitution. So I
Right.
understand how that feels.
Right, and with the boys,
You
it's a
know?
different flavor because
yeah.
they get recruited out of the need of that fast money.
Sure they do. But
And-
that's what happens to them.
Right, and because this
They
is
don't realize what they're doing.
no, and this is a crime of profit. It does
Right.
not matter if you're a boy or a girl or what age. Whatever the demand is, they'll find it.
Oh, I know
So
they
if you're a 15-year-old boy,
Oh yeah, they're gonna find.
they're
you.
going to bring you in right into it. You
Yeah.
know,
Bring her with you. No, but I'm just saying, if we could get the men to start marching against violence to women,
right?
you know, I think one of the organizations tried to get that going last year, but it was this rainstorm and it didn't happen
Right.
real good. But I think if it was planned out to be in the summer and in June area somewhere, and really planned out well, that we could get. I know I could get a ton of bikers that I know from this one club. And I know they'd be out there,
Right.
riding their bikes and saying stop the violence because they don't believe women should be hit,
Absolutely.
and they're bikers. So, and they're not, roughnecks, but they're pretty. Some of them are pretty young.
Right. Well, and it's funny that you
You know?
say we have in the makings. We're in our program development stage.
Good.
So we have what's called Taking Minnesota by Storm, which is
Right.
sex trafficking on the run in Minnesota.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, and it's taking the cities because
Right.
I do speaking here and there, but why don't we just take an entire city or
Yeah,
two
well,
or
we're
three?
gonna take a whole city. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do.
So yeah, exactly. So we are recruiting men that
Right, you
have
got
this
to.
passion
We have to
be
find
the
them.
role models.
Until we get them in, it's never going to change.
Right. It's then a woman's yah-yah club.
Yeah. You know what
And
I
we don't
mean?
want that.
No, you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Until the guys
Yeah.
start saying, stop the violence to women. Until
Yeah.
they stand up and speak about us, women, about the women that they're loving in their arms every day.
Yeah.
Until they realize that those women could be taken from them by one of these.
Or their daughters.
Or their little girls, or their
Yeah,
granddaughters,
yep.
or their grandsons, or
Yep,
or
absolutely.
sons.
Yep.
They don't care which brand it is.
Exactly. They don't.
No, they
Right.
don't. Because they're evil people.
Right. And Destination Freedom actually links with, we're like the gap filler.